Okay, so today I want to talk about just the unfairness of this world because, this world is just an unfair place. I mean, you see it every day, you can't get away from it. You just go outside and, you take a walk, you walk by some fancy restaurants, you just see the people in there just like laughing and having a good time. These these types of rich people who you just know by looking at them that they've never been damaged by life. These completely undamaged people, like completely oblivious to the world. Cackling like hyenas as if there was no problem in the world when on the other side of the planet, not even on the other side of the planet, 20 meters away from them, there's someone starving. And they just don't care, they just don't care about it. They're having a good time, they're eating good, they're rich, they don't care that there's people like 20 meters away that are starving and having a completely horrific life. I mean, it's heaven and hell right next to each other. And that's just the world, I guess. That's just the world now. And it's like you walk by that and you just like witness these like insane sins, like this horrible situation. You just witness that every day, and like, what are you supposed to think? I mean, this is hell here. This is hell on earth. On earth. How is nobody angry about this? How are people just okay about this? Some people say that just ordinary people are evil. Because in a way they are. I mean, ordinary people are who stood back, or the people who stand back. Every time there's some great atrocity in history, there's everyone stands back pretty much. Like 99% of people just stand back and live their daily life. Yet there's people getting burnt alive next to you, and there's the ashes that are falling on your cars, and you just like remove the ashes and you get in your car and you go to your job. This is daily. This is like been a daily occurrence in history, and it's no different nowadays. We're not better. People sometimes think we're better, we're more moral, we're better people, because they have this like not this recency bias, but they have this like current exceptionalism, like this bias for the current times. They think we're enlightened and we're just like better than the people in the past. We just figured it out. We didn't figure out anything. I mean, we're just like better at marketing, pretty much. We made some advancements. I'm not gonna pretend like we didn't improve some things. It's great, but fundamentally, human beings are just so comfortable with pain and suffering. I mean, we're very callous kind of types. We're very callous species, I guess, because people just live their lives and they just ignore all this misery. They can just like zero in on their own lives and just like enjoy that without ever thinking about the world around them. And there's something scary about that because you can have the biggest inequalities, and it's like people are just okay with that. People are just comfortable with that. And it's just so scummy. It's just so it's detestable because these people, every time they take a bite out of their overpriced food, it's like they're basically saying a statement that they're showcasing how okay, how just so uncaring they are of the horrible situation that everybody else is in. You know, every time they take another trip in their nice car, every time they sleep another night in their nice house, they're showcasing again and again just another instance of them not caring, of just how much they don't care about you and your life and all the problems in the world. These are the people, sadly, these are the people who are actually making decisions in society. These are the people who have power. Rich people, powerful people, people born in good families who go to good schools. These are the people who make decisions in the world. They decide how things are going to go in the future. And you know what? Maybe that's not quite a good thing because it seems like these people always favor themselves. It seems like these people always give themselves the money, they give themselves the help, they give it to their friends, and they just concentrate power constantly into their own hands to the detriment of everybody else. We're all starving, we're all having shitty lives, and these people are just piling on millions and billions, and it's just embarrassing. I mean, it's just so much inequality that's nonsensical in this world. I mean, not only inequality, but just like uncaringness, just callousness, just people who could easily improve a situation by making better decisions, but they just don't even care. Humanly, just it doesn't push their heart. They don't have that desire to help people. It's just not a big deal to them. So they never really do it. They never really try harder. So we just end up in this kind of world. And when you see this, the worst thing that you witness isn't even, the inequality maybe itself, which is terrible, but something else that you're going to notice that it's just terrible is just the people who are poor, the people who are unfortunate, who just praise this, like, who just praise their oppressors pretty much. These people who go and they just cheer for athletes, they just cheer for celebrities, for billionaires, for whoever else, just these people who are just complete suckers, frankly. They just don't have any awareness of their standing in society. They just don't have any awareness that their boss despises them and has no value to their lives. I mean, these people that you work for, these people that you make money for, these people that, you follow and whatever, they don't attribute any value to your life. They just do not care. They only take and take and take. This is kind of human nature. I mean, what are they supposed to do? They're maybe not so evil. They're maybe just really normal people who are operating in a system that kind of allows for this kind of proliferation of abuse, because naturally people are self-interested. If their, ambitions, if their desires are not culled, people just keep taking naturally. They don't really think about it. There's not much awareness about the things they're doing. There's just not much awareness about even the effects of what they're doing. People are very myopic in their nature, and they don't really see behind like their own lives. They don't really see behind their own experiences. Most people don't even have like this sense of awareness of the world around them. They really just think about the present moment, and they kind of just experience that, and they go to their day to day. So there's not this like meta, this vision for an overarching narrative in the world. They're not always thinking like in this meta sense of what's happening right now. What's the goal of all of this? Which is kind of more of an anxious type behavior. If you're someone who's very anxious, if you're someone who sees the problems in the world, who's more pessimistic, who's more cynical, who's had a lot of problems in their life, who's maybe been traumatized, who's just seen all the unfairness and the crap and all the lies and the deception in the world. If you've seen all that, and you've been mistreated and abused and maybe been gaslit by people who just deny all this stuff. Yeah, I didn't talk about that. All the people who deny all this stuff. If you're someone who has suffered like that, you're probably someone who's more aware to it, who's more aware about their surroundings and the general situation and how certain things are affecting the world. You're probably more aware because you almost have this anxious hyper awareness, this like paranoia. Really, it's paranoia because you're always kind of expecting something to go wrong. You're always searching for the problems around you because it's like an animal scanning the environment to find a predator in the bushes because they've been attacked by so many tigers. They're always scared that a tiger is about to pop out of the bushes. So they're always scanning the environment, in the same way that if you're someone who has experienced a lot of adversity in life, you're always scanning your environment to kind of find some threat in the environment because you've just experienced so many problems and so much pain, so much sudden, so much sudden, adversity coming out of nowhere, just problems coming out of nowhere, unpredictably. You're always scanning the environment for some kind of threat because you always feel like potentially at any point in time the ground is about to collapse under your feet. So it kind of gives you this anxious hyper awareness, this kind of paranoia, which sometimes it can be useful because it can allow you, if you're in an environment that is kind of dangerous, or maybe not even an environment that's dangerous, but an environment where it's useful to be perceptive, to be observant, to things like that, to be suspicious, cynical, skeptical. It can kind of give you an advantage because you're naturally gonna kind of have these tendencies. So you need to keep that in mind. But as much as it's said to be, it can be said to be something good, and a lot of the time people are gonna pretend like it's good because it has to do with their identity. It's also kind of a bad thing, in daily life. If you're always expecting something to go wrong, you're always kind of scared of things, you're suspicious of everything. It's probably not a great asset, in the daily life, because you need to trust people to a degree. You need to trust the world around you so you can actually function. So even though a lot of people are not trustworthy at all, you just kind of need to do it because otherwise you can't really function. You kind of need to work in society, so you need to trust people to a degree. So you need to also be able to think about that too. The fact that you just need to trust these people somehow, even though like you have a lot of reason to not trust them. Sometimes you kind of need to kind of take a risk. Sometimes you need to try to think a little bit if something is actually legitimately a threat, or if you're kind of just catastrophizing, if you're just expecting something worse than what it is. I mean, maybe you have experiences where you were just expecting something to be so terrible because everything went so wrong in the past. You were just expecting something to go so wrong, and you just went and you did it, and it wasn't that bad. People sometimes think that, for example, they're going to go on some like I don't know, whatever. But yeah, you never know. You never know if something's gonna be that bad. So you're kind of gonna have to keep that in mind. But yeah, when we live in a world where people are just insensitive to other people's struggles, and people just gaslight people endlessly about how the world is unfair, pretending like it's not unfair. Meanwhile, you have to witness people who are just like enjoying life without a care in the world, just completely ignoring all the struggles of the people around them, just completely carelessly. You build some, and maybe it builds some resentment in your, you build some resentment toward that naturally because you're not supposed to be seeing people that are so much more fortunate than you. There's a problem if that's the case, and we have a natural desire, I guess, to equalize things as human beings, which maybe is good, maybe is not good sometimes. But when people pretend like that's not real, when people gaslight you and tell you that there's no problem, that everyone's equal, everyone has the same opportunities, that it's not bad, that you just need to work hard and you can make it, it's just not believable at all. I mean, these people are just silly, and I think you kind of just need to be a little bit more aware. So yeah, that's kind of it for now. Thank you.